I'm Barbara Mikuszewski, Associate Dean of Health Careers and Sciences at the Metropolitan Cuyahoga Community College campus. And this is 2015 Healthy Cooking Made Easy. And today I have two guests with me. I have Chef Gaw and one of her students, Erica, from the Hospitality Management Program. One of the objectives of this series is to encourage you to eat healthy. Many times we don't eat healthy because we don't know how. We don't know the foods that are available and how to prepare them. Well, this segment today is about tropical fruits, mangoes, papayas, and avocados. And then just for some variety, we're going to talk about kale and pomegranates. Studies are showing that individuals who eat a wide variety of produce are healthier. We get stuck into just eating apples, bananas, and grapes when there's so much more available. So our hope today is that you will see how easy it is to use some tropical fruits that are almost available all times of the year now, and how you can incorporate them into your meal. So we're going to start with kale.
Our friend kale, absolutely. This is the hottest thing out there now is kale.
Well, it's called the #1 superfood.
Okay, we like superfoods. And I like it for its versatility. It's great in its raw form. Today we're going to make chips out of it. And it's also wonderful braised, so it has lots of application. We're going to make chips today, and what we want to do is remove this very thick stem here. Now you could get a knife out, but God gave me these hands, so I like to use those whenever I can. And I just kind of pull along there and remove the thick stem. We could use that for soups if we wanted. You know, we could use it for if you have compost. Do you have a compost bin?
No.
No? I don't have room at my house for a compost bin either. But here at school we compost, so that could go to compost at the least. So what we're going to do is just remove it. Now remember that when these bake, they're going to shrink up a whole lot.
Right, they do.
So we don't want to tear them into itty bitty little pieces, because then we'll just have kale dust,
Right.
which could be a culinary trend.
Right.
Kale dust, there we
Put that
go.
on a salad, you wouldn't even know you're eating it.
So we just want to tear them roughly like this. And then Erica over there has a whole bin full of water. Want to talk about lettuces, kale, all your greens. Want to make sure that you really wash them, not with soap and water, but that you put them in a nice deep vat of water. So we're going to go over here to the sink. Sorry, I'm disrupting everybody here. And I have enough water in here that the kale can float, okay? What happens to the bottom? We talked about you got some kale over the weekend. It had stones and mud. All that sinks to the bottom. And then Erica's just going to remove that from there. You want to lift your greens out.
One of the things you would assume that because of the greens being wet when you buy them from the grocery store that they're clean, and that's not the case. They just keep them wet so they don't dry out. Right? That's right. But that doesn't mean they're clean. And now Erica is going to spin in a salad spinner, right, which is a great tool, especially in the summer when you do lots of salads. If we don't have a salad spinner, what can you do to make sure that kale is dry?
You can use paper towels and pat them dry, making sure both sides and inside of the leaf is getting completely dry.
Right, so you want to make sure it's dry before you put them in the oven.
And you know, at home, Barbara, I take a kitchen towel. And I'll take my greens after I've lifted them out. I'll wrap them, roll them up in that towel, and then put them in a baggie and put them in the refrigerator with the towel. So then the towel helps keep them moist, but takes away that water too.
Right.
Water's our enemy with lettuce.
Right.
So next we're going to do, while Erica's working on the kale chips, we're going to take that kale that's been dried completely, and we're going to toss it with a little olive oil and a little seasoning salt. I'm going to pass my treasured seasoning salt over. You could use whatever you would like. I happen to make a blend of seasoning salt with salt, pepper, garlic, onion, and coriander is my hidden little secret in there.
You just let it out.
I let it out. That's okay. And that's what I like to season my chips. Want to make sure you drizzle them with a little olive oil, not a ton. And then you kind of want to massage the leaves with that olive oil so that then it gets to every little nook and cranny and our
Right.
seasoning adheres to it.
Okay, good.
Okay? And then they bake for about 15 minutes or so. You want to make sure you don't bake them too long because then you'll have burnt chips.
Okay, good.
Okay. So now our next dish that we're going to make is a mango and shrimp lettuce wrap. And so we're going to talk about mangoes
Yes,
next.
we are. We've
We're
had
going to
some
talk about
conversations.
mangoes.
Right.
And the mangoes typically are that April to August sort of season.
Right.
But as you've said, we get just about everything all times of the year. Now, when you feel this mango, you're going to
Right.
feel that it's firm.
It's hard as a rock.
Hard, that's
Right.
an even better word. Now, when you feel this one, even though it doesn't look as pretty as that one,
Right.
you see that it seems to be a little softer.
Right. It yields under the pressure of my thumbs.
And
Right.
that's what we're looking for. This one isn't going to have a lot of flavor. So you want to let this sit on the counter for 2 or 3 days, and then it should be just perfect.
And that's what's nice about the tropical fruit is that you can let it sit on the counter for a couple of days. And color has nothing to do with the ripeness of a mango. You can't tell if it's ripe or not.
It's
You have
all
to
about
feel
the
it.
feel.
Right.
That's right. When I'm in the produce department, I'm squeezing all the fruit, I'm sniffing and stuff,
Right.
and people are looking at me, and they're like, "You must know what you're doing." So that's the fun part of it. So our mango has a seed in the center.
Right. One big seed.
One big seed,
Right.
one big pit, whatever you want to call
Right.
it. And it's almost almond shaped. Okay? So you can't cut straight down.
Right.
Okay? You're going to cut along the sides here.
Right. Okay.
Okay? So just like that.
So you kind of guesstimate where the
Yep.
seed is and kind of cut. Okay.
And you can, if you go in a little too far, I'll go in a little too far here. Okay?
It stops.
It stops.
Okay. Good.
So then I know that I can just cut over here, okay? Now there's a number of things you can do. Take a paring knife. Depending what you're going to do, you could peel it now
Right.
with your paring knife if you want. A lot of people like to do this where you just run your knife down to the skin but not through the skin. And this is that pretty thing that they always do, okay?
Right.
And we're going to do this.
And well, I want to caution you not to peel it before you cut it because it gets too slimy and you'll never be able to get a firm handle on it. The
Very
knife
hard
would
to
slip.
hold.
Right. So, and look
Okay.
how that works. You just turn it inside out.
Okay, and then you can just take your knife and trim along here and
Right.
remove the papaya, or I'm sorry, mango. I'm
And
thinking
you can
about
make
the next recipe.
the cuts however you need to, depending upon what the recipe is. Right. You
Right.
can make bigger cubes if you need to, or smaller cubes.
Right, right.
Right.
So that's kind of that, makes it easy. Now we're gonna take some carrot, some celery, some shrimp. Okay, and then the other thing you could have done is just
Eat it.
like that.
It's hard not to eat it when it looks and smells that good.
Yes, yes. Okay.
You could have taken, now you don't want to take a spoon to scoop that out either because you want, for this particular recipe, you want the cubes.
Right, right. And you could do this,
Right.
if you wanted.
But it's kind of slippery, so you don't want to take a chance if you're not good with a knife.
Yep, so you could do that. And when we're looking to do some really fine cuts, that's probably a little better for us. And then just,
And you can, when you open it up, the mango up, you could smell right away that it's ripe. I mean, it just has a really nice
well, and
odor
that's,
to it.
aside when I'm shopping for melons and stuff,
Right.
I go by the weight of the melon, that
Right.
it should be heavy.
Right.
Because you want it to be full of that juice and water. But I also go by the end of the melon and I kind of press it and I
Right.
smell. Do I smell that sweet melon?
Then you really get looks from the grocery store.
I do.
That's okay.
I do. That's okay. So then we're just going to chop up our small ingredients here, celery.
And again, you're doing the mango shrimp wraps.
They're doing
right?
lettuce wraps.
The
So-
lettuce wraps. So you know you need to cut these pieces small because it has to go into a lettuce wrap.
Right,
Right. So
right.
it kind of gives you an indication of what size you need to be chopping.
Absolutely. And you can change what you put in here based upon your likes and dislikes. These are huge carrots.
they
Don't buy this big a carrot. Okay. They're like horse carrots. They lose their sweetness when they get really big
Right.
like that. So you want to be careful. When you chop, you always want to make a base. That's really important so that things don't slide around on you. And watch your fingertips. Curl them under so that you're protecting the tips.
And you know, if you don't like to chop, or you get kind of concerned about using a knife, or you don't have a good knife, you can buy carrots and celery already chopped in the grocery store now. They just got all kinds of onions. You can buy it all pre-chopped, which
Yes,
makes it
and,
easy.
and that's really nice that you can do that.
Well, it makes it a little bit quicker when you come home from work to
There
prepare
we go.
something.
Yep. So now I'm going to use vegetable oil to cook in. Has a little higher burning point.
Okay. And
Although
what does that mean, that it has a burning point?
So that I can cook hotter.
Okay.
Okay. If I use olive oil, it doesn't have as high a burning point, smoke point. It'll burn
Right.
quicker.
Right.
Okay. And we don't need a ton of oil in here, just enough to coat the bottom. And I'm going to steal that other cutting board over there
one?
so I can cut up our shrimp. We're
Now, it
gonna
looks
get
like
rid
the
of it.
shrimp may have been marinated.
Yeah,
or...
they were marinated. It's just what I happened to have around.
Okay.
So that was all that really mattered. You don't have to have them marinated. And we just want, as we talked about before, bite size.
Right.
So we kind of want to do that. You could buy a smaller shrimp and not spend as much money. If you happen to have had shrimp for dinner the night before and
Right.
you had some leftover cooked shrimp,
Good idea.
that would be okay. We
Right.
just would add it in at the end instead of the beginning. Okay? And you could do this with chicken, just about
That's
whatever
a good
you
idea.
want.
Right.
Okay? And you hear the sizzle, that's important there. We want to make sure that our pan is nice and hot. And the other thing that I'm going to chop up right now is the garlic on here. One of my secrets for chopping garlic is to smash it first.
Right.
Makes it a little easier to chop.
Right. Or you could have used a garlic press.
Could use
right,
a garlic
and
press,
Put the garlic in that way.
but then your hands won't smell like garlic later.
Or, you know what, you can buy cut garlic in the grocery store as well in a little jar.
And we want to be careful with our garlic not to burn it. Okay, I'm just going to step this aside, wash off my hands real quick.
Let me just stir this up a little bit because it's getting a little sticky.
All right,
There we go. Okay, and what's nice about shrimp is it doesn't take but a minute or two to
That's
just to
it.
turn color. That's all you're looking for in the shrimp, right, is for it to turn color.
absolutely. So we're going to add to that our carrot and our celery. And I'm going to put our mango in here now. Okay. And you see how pretty the colors
the
are?
color is great. The yellow and the orange are great. And so it's not even really to the point of cooking the carrots and the celery so they're soft.
We
You
just
just-
want
some
just
flavor.
a little, take a little bit of the bite off of
Right,
them.
right.
And then I have here some fresh mint. I
Okay.
like that combination. I also have an empty container. This is it's my favorite brand, May Ploy Sweet Chili Garlic Sauce. So it has a little heat, has a little sweet. So we'll add that in there.
And this is a reminder that the recipes will be on the website so that you'll be able to, if you don't remember all the exact ingredients and how much.
And you see how our shrimp have turned nice and
Right.
white, a little bit
Right,
pinkish.
different texture, and they're firm. And that didn't take but a couple of minutes.
Couple of minutes. And our mint. And you notice
Smells
I
good.
removed my cutting board with the raw shrimp.
Right.
We want to make sure we don't cross-contaminate
Right.
there. Okay? And just a pinch of salt. We don't need a ton of it in here. We've got lots of flavors. And I'm going to put just a little pepper. Okay, now I'm going to just turn this off and let it sit here for a second. Now, one of the differences between a chef and a home cook is that we taste through the whole process. Now, I know at home you may taste, but you tend to eat more than taste, okay? So one of the things we want to do at this point is taste it and make
Okay.
sure that its flavor's good. And you have some spoons over there if you'd like to.
I'll let you try. You tried a mango. Good.
Oh, the mango's awesome.
Good.
Absolutely awesome. So the seasoning's good. I'm going to add a little bit of the mint to that.
Okay, so you're adding the mint last after the heat is off so that you get maximize the flavor.
Absolutely. Your fresh herbs, you don't want to put those in
And cook-
at the very beginning,
No.
right? And then for our lettuce, we have bib lettuce. You could
Okay.
use iceberg lettuce and make nice little cups. Whatever really makes you happy. That's what it's all
But
about.
this is a bib lettuce, so the leaves are a little bit bigger and flatter, so it makes it easy for a wrap.
It makes it easy to wrap it, yes, and not quite as crunchy to eat.
Right. Makes it
Okay.
a little bit easier.
So, and the same thing with the lettuce. Make sure you wash it. Nice cold water, lift
Right.
it out, pat it dry. Oh, and you know what? I got one more thing that I want to
Oh,
just
the
chop a few
peanuts.
to give us a little crunch.
Crunch, right.
Good food has all kinds of different
Right.
textures in it.
Could you use something other than peanuts?
You could use almonds. You
Right,
could
okay.
use, just about pistachios would be good.
Okay, that would be different.
You know, and once again, it's kind of whatever you have at home.
Right.
Okay.
Wow, that looks so good.
Okay. And if you wanted to serve this cold,
Uh-huh.
you could chill this
Right.
and just serve them cold. Put them out on your buffet for summertime. A few peanuts on there. I like to fold my sides in.
Nope, I don't want to put that.
That's all right. You're right.
So you can see it. Whoa, doesn't that look nice?
And what I would do is just set out a bunch of leaves, let everybody make their own. It's kind of fun to do
Right.
that way.
Wow, that
Okay.
looks great. Yep, thank you. So that would be, you could use that as an appetizer, or you can use it for lunch. Right? Have a
Absolutely.
few for lunch. That would be great. Okay.
Okay.
Good job. That looks good and smells so good.
Okay.
What's next?
What's next? We're going to do papaya next. How are our kale chips doing? I see Erica looking in the oven there.
Only a couple more minutes.
A couple more minutes, okay. We'll do the papaya relish next. I like to make the papaya relish, like to have it on grilled pork chops in the summer. Grilled chicken, just one of those great kind of relishes. You could just eat it with chips if you wanted to. Or
Can
on
you
a-
hold it up next to the mango so they can see the difference? Sorry.
That-
I
that-
get them confused. I cannot remember.
And what was our secret?
The secret is that the papaya looks like the shape of a pear. And so that's a papaya, that's the mango, and this has the many pits. And this has a one seed.
Right.
Okay.
So the papaya has lots of seeds in it. The seeds are edible. And we talk about you don't want to be able to push your finger through it. That would
Right.
mean that it's overripe.
Right.
But this is soft, okay? And it's kind of slim pickings right now for what
Yeah,
you can
it
find
is.
out there. But
And
this
this you can cut right through the middle.
right through the
'Cause
middle.
it's oh, look at
And
that.
look how beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the seeds are edible.
Right,
They taste kind of peppery.
right. We don't tend to eat them in the United States.
No, no. So we're just going to scoop those out, and you want to be cautious when you're scooping them out, not to remove a lot of the meat, okay?
Because there's not a lot there.
There's not a lot there, that's right.
No, but you can tell the great color. That's what's so nice about the tropical fruit are the great colors and what they can do to a dish with that coral color.
Yep, that's. So what I'm going to do is just cut it, and you could even just cut it into wedges and then easily peel it, okay? Now you're going to see like I'm removing a little bit more than just the skin because that part is hard. So just wasn't quite perfect, ripe there. So we'll remove some of that.
Again, this is one of those fruits where you want to cut it, then peel it, because again, it's kind of a slippery feel to it, so it would make it very difficult to cut if you didn't have the skin on it.
Okay.
And what is this recipe again that you're making?
We're making a relish with red onion, lime zest,
Okay.
some peppers. So it's
Lots of
kind of,
good- right, it's some sweet and peppery and avocado too, I believe, right?
We're gonna make guacamole next.
Okay,
That's okay. No avocado in here.
not that one. Okay.
That's okay. Okay, so, and I'm just gonna shove this stuff to the side of my cutting board so we can work here. And once again,
Find that flat edge whenever you cut anything. Make sure you cut it, find a place where it's going to be secure on the cutting board.
and then make sure when you're cutting that you're not,
Right.
sometimes cooks like to do that. Makes lots of noise. It's nice.
Serve no
I know
purpose.
they're working. That's the key to that. But it dulls your knife, and when you're cutting 50 pounds of carrots or something,
It
you're going to
dulls,
get tired really
Right.
quick. So you want to cut from the shoulder. Okay. And we're just going to toss this stuff in a bowl. And this is a real quick assembly. I'll set that. We're good. And a lot of times I like to use the bench scraper dough cutter
Right.
just to gather everything. It makes a nice transfer tool. Okay. So we have a little red onion here. When you go to cut an onion, one of the easiest things to do is slice it this way once you've cut it in half.
Right.
Don't cut all the way through. So I've left part here, and then I just go
Is
through
there a
like
reason
this.
why you're using the red onion and not a white onion? Is
Just
there
for
different-
color.
Just for color.
Mhm,
Right. So
yep.
if you don't have a red onion, then a
Don't
white-
worry about
yeah,
it.
a
You're
white-
good.
You're not going to impact the flavor.
Okay. And sometimes you need to pay attention to the size of the onions. They'll say one small onion. Quite often what you can buy at home are nice small ones. Sometimes they're really huge. So
Right.
pay attention to that. Save some for another salad if you need to there. Now the other thing we have here is a lime. And what I like to do with all my citrus is zest it. So you're just going to take the green part off of the
Right.
lime, not the
Right.
white part. This is where all the flavor is.
And this is like just a cheese grater,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
You can use that. They do have things called zesters, which are a little bit
Microplanes,
microplanes, which are a little bit longer. But if you don't have one of those, then a cheese grater would work. A sharp cheese grater would work fine. And again, it's just the color where that flavor is that you
Right.
want. It's
And
don't
you
want it-
smell that.
right, and you don't want, so you can always see
Just the green.
Just this, yeah.
So I'm just going to tap that to release that.
Ooh, what a smell!
Zest adds so much flavor. Like when I make blueberry syrup at home, just the zest of a lemon.
A lemon, right.
Awesome.
Right.
So the next thing, when we want to get juice from here, you want to press on it. Some people
Roll
will
it.
put them in the microwave for a few seconds.
Right.
But if you press on it and roll it, what you're doing is help to break that down and makes it easier to juice. Okay? I use my hand once again and squeeze over my hand so that I catch any
The
seeds.
seeds, right? Because once they get in there, they're going to be hard to find.
Yeah, we don't want to have to pick them out. And then I have some chili peppers we're going to add.
Some more color.
Some
right? The
more
red
color
the
and
green.
some heat
Right.
to complement that sweet.
What a different combination of flavors you have. Onion, right? Mango,
Yep.
lime.
And what do I have here, Erica? What did I just add?
I couldn't even see you over here. Oh, your favorite sauce.
Okay. And just a little vinegar. Once again, heightens flavors. And we'll take one of each of our peppers. If you don't like heat, stick with the jalapenos. They're a little milder. If you want extra heat in there, leave the seeds and ribs in. If you don't, remove that. Okay, so are you spicy?
No.
Not so spicy.
Not so spicy.
Okay.
You could remove the seeds.
We'll remove the seeds. Okay, and then same sort of thing here.
Right, so you're just using a half of one.
Yep. I'm going to be kind to you.
Thank you.
And once
tiny.
again, tiny. There you go. You want very,
Right.
very small pieces so that nobody gets this huge surprise of pepper in their mouth. Okay?
Yep.
And our red pepper.
And that's just as hot as the jalapeno?
Yes, it's probably a little hotter.
Okay.
So if you didn't want that but you wanted color, you could use a red bell
Red
pepper.
Right.
That would
okay,
be fine.
good. Right. So
Okay.
if this is an ingredient that's kind of optional, if you don't want it hot, you don't have to put in the peppers. Use a red pepper. You could use a yellow pepper. Any of those
Oh,
colored
sure.
peppers would
Yep.
be great. So, depending upon what your taste is, you have to cook it and put the things in it so that you eat it and your guests eat it and
That's
not
right.
for what the recipe says.
And not for, that's it. It's your taste. It's
Right.
your recipe. It's what you want to do.
Right.
Okay, so and this is
Wow,
great
That looks great.
over. And do you smell that? Do you smell the heat? That's
Oh,
just a little bit.
It smells incredible, right? It really is.
Okay, and you could add some green onion to this if you wanted. But this is great over a grilled pork chop in the summer,
Oh, I
grilled
bet.
piece of chicken, fish, any of those, it would go
Right.
over really, really well with. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, you're going to
Good
try
job.
it?
Yes, I will. I'll try
Okay,
it.
you got spoons to your right there.
Okay. Let's just see what it's like.
And I'm just going to clear my board.
Although I'm going to go for more of the mango than the pepper. That is really good. But hot. It's hot, but it's
hot.
good.
It's spicy.
Well, right, but there's a nice ratio of mango to onion, so you get a little bit of both. So that's why it will make it good on meat.
Right.
Yeah, very good.
Okay.
That's good.
So our last item,
Well,
and how are our kale chips? Do you
They
want to
came
try
out.
those?
I can bring a few over to you.
Can you just show them what the tray looks like so they can see
Oh,
how much it
absolutely.
shrinks up?
Here's the difference.
Right, this is what you put it on, and this is how it will come out. So it's okay to pile them up a little, not just to a single layer, but you can scrunch them together because they will certainly shrink. And this is a good, the way you know they're done is by the color. These are a little bit, they're not brown, so they're not burnt, but they're dark around the edges, so it makes them really crunchy. And you've already put some oil and salt on them.
Yes.
Okay, so now I've had these before, and what's different about these than other kinds of chips is these are really fragile. I mean, as you pick them up, they're not sturdy.
Right.
You'd think it'd be sturdy because kale is kind of sturdy, but when you cook it and kind of take out the moisture, it is
Pretty
they're
fragile.
fragile. Yeah,
Pretty fragile.
not for dipping.
No, not for dipping. Not for
You'd
dipping.
lose it for sure. So, very good.
Thank you.
They're good. I use those. I eat them instead of chips. Eat them, with
Nice
the-
evening snack or something?
Well, right. Yeah, just to have available because they're just healthy. And they taste good with the oil and the seasoning. Nice job.
Thank you.
Okay,
Avocado.
our last tropical.
This one I know.
This one you know.
This one I
Okay,
don't get
very
confused. However, but you still have the issue about how do you know if an avocado is ripe.
Okay, so it's kind of like the mango. You don't want it to be rock hard.
Right.
So this one has nice,
Oh, yeah, it is nice
Okay.
and soft.
but it's not, this one
Not
over here
mushy.
is almost too soft.
Oh.
Feel how mushy it
Squishy.
is?
Right.
Squishy,
This
okay.
is soft, that's squishy.
Okay,
Right.
so that's the difference
Okay.
between them. Now this one has a pit in the center.
Right.
So typically what you do is cut all the way around, twist,
Right.
okay, and there's the pit. You take the very end of your knife
Okay.
and stick to it, oops, and it should pull out just
Okay.
like that. Now I hang on to this
Uh-huh.
so that when I mash up the avocado and maybe I'm not quite ready to use it, I put the pit back in
Oh, you
it
do?
and I cover it completely over the top with saran wrap,
Okay.
plastic wrap, and that helps it to keep from turning.
Oh, really? Because avocados will turn brown.
They'll turn
Right, with
brown and then
oxidation.
it doesn't look very
No.
pretty. It tastes okay,
Tastes-
but it
right.
just doesn't look pretty.
Right, okay.
Okay.
So let me just, you scoop it out and you'll put the avocado, if you're not going to use it in a bowl, you put the pit back in, cover it up.
I usually mash
Mash
it up,
right.
okay?
Okay, right,
Just-
and put the pit back in and,
and then
cover
put
it
the
up.
pit back in and cover
Okay.
it up.
Okay, I'd not heard that before.
Okay, so that seems to work pretty well. One of my students actually taught me that, so. I get to learn here
Yes.
too. Okay. Now you can use a fork. You could do whatever you want to mash it. You can
Oh, that
mash it
right-
in a bowl, but
that's
see how perfectly that
right.
mashes?
Yeah, right,
Okay, because it's ripe.
right. If you cannot do that, then it's not really ripe.
Right.
Now, as long as it's whole, you can put it on the counter and it will ripen, right? But once you open it up, there's nothing you can do.
No.
Once
you're
it's
done.
cut,
You're
right.
done. So you really want to master that feel of the
Right.
outside of it.
Right.
Okay. Then we'll just put our avocado in the bowl there. Okay. Now I have some unusual ingredients that we're
Yeah,
going to
you
add
do.
here. Okay. I've got our lime again, so we're going to zest a little bit of lime. I'm going to dice up some onion. Erica, do you want to dice up? Oh no, let's talk about the pomegranate.
You want to do that first?
Yep,
While you
and
work
I-
on these
And I can
ingredients?
chop onion and
Okay.
I can zest, and Eric will
Okay.
coach you through
Okay.
pomegranate.
Okay, one of the things we did want to show you were pomegranates and how to cut them and how to eat them. This actually came about because they had a huge display in the grocery store at Christmas time, and they were a good price. And you hear lots of good things about people using pomegranates. There are a lot of marketing things coming out now about health issues, and they're really not documented. There's pomegranate juice and things like that, but they are a great nutritionally good food, lots of antioxidants again, and it's red. You know, anything that's got nice deep color is considered healthy. But I think people shy away from it because it is
It's a little
a
difficult.
challenging looking fruit. So if you can show us what you do with it, that would be great.
There's many different ways that you can go about doing it. I personally like to cut it in half.
Let's get a whole one.
Here's a whole one.
Okay, so this is a whole one.
So I would start by cutting it in half,
Okay.
like this. And then,
Can you just show them
Oh.
what it looks like inside? Okay.
Oh.
That's the skeleton piece, then all these seeds that are covered like in a gelatinous material, but it's not juicy.
no.
So you don't. One of the things you have to be cautious about pomegranates is that the color stains everything, right?
You'll turn pink.
You'll turn pink, counters, cutting boards. So you want to be careful when you do it so that you don't splash.
Yes, yes. Especially in these white jackets.
Right. So you cut it in half, and now you're kind of making.
I'm making two little
Divots.
divots into the pomegranate just so it can start to break apart. Eventually it will look like this.
Okay.
And then, my favorite part.
This is good if you've had a frustrating day.
You've
right?
had a long day and you come home from work.
Watch this, and the seeds just kind of pop out.
When I'm doing this, I'm squeezing just a little bit to help push the seeds out.
Okay.
The more you break apart, the easier they just fall out.
Okay.
You do have to be careful though when you are doing it. You'll get just a little bit of the insides, which
Okay.
they pop right back out.
Okay.
And if you didn't want to break, if you weren't in that aggressive mood to beat with the spoon, okay, you can take your pieces and put them in cold water
Okay.
and break it apart. The seeds will fall to the bottom,
Okay.
and the white membrane will come to the top.
Okay, and the water doesn't impact the seeds.
The water
because
doesn't
they've
impact
got
the
that
seeds.
gelatinous covering on them.
And then
Okay.
the other thing, if you do this and you've got a lot of seeds left, you can spread them out on a sheet tray,
Okay.
put them in the freezer, or cookie sheet, put them in the freezer, and allow them to freeze individually, and then put them in a bag,
Right.
and you have some that you can just reach
Right.
in and grab every now and
Because
then.
you don't really need a whole lot of seeds when you eat them, right? You use them as a garnish on a salad, right? Or you can use them as a garnish on some meat. And here is what they look like. And they're sweet.
They're sweet and tangy and crunchy, real
Right.
crisp.
Right. Okay, well that's not hard.
No, very easy.
No, and you know that you can freeze them, and that's a lot of seeds.
Yeah,
right.
that's from
and that's
a
just
half.
from a half of a pomegranate. So then lay them out on a tray, freeze them, and then when they're frozen, you can scoop them all up and put them in a plastic bag, and then you can just grab them whenever they're available. So we've talked about a couple of things that you want to have in your available in your pantry. We've talked about some nuts, right? Just to have them available, put those in the freezer. The pomegranates, some of the peppers, your onions. Of course, you wouldn't put those in the freezer, but your celery, your carrots, just things to have available that gives you some creativity when you decide to cook.
Okay, so now we're going to make our unusual guacamole.
Right.
Okay, so I have our avocado in there. I have lime juice, red onion, just a little bit of jalapeno pepper.
Okay.
Okay, just a little bit. A little bit of garlic. And then I'm going to add to it a couple things that are going to make it a little different. We're going to add the pomegranate seeds to it. And once again, this makes a perfect dip if you want to dip some tortilla chips or whatever in. But I also like it back to my summertime. This is kind of my summer mode. I make a batch of this. We have some chip and dip, but then I also have the guacamole to put on top of a piece of grilled chicken or serve along with some grilled shrimp. Love all that. So I have blue cheese. Okay, you don't have to put this in, but it's actually pretty yummy. And if you can get smoked blue cheese, it's even better. Okay, I'm not going to go crazy with it. And then Erica has for us, we're going to do some pomegranates in here. So just a nice, yeah, that looks good. Okay, just a nice amount in there. Okay, we'll mix this up. So we'll get that nice burst crunch from the pomegranates. We'll get some of that smokiness from the blue cheese, the creaminess. Avocados are fattening, but it's good fat for you. I know fat.
It's a healthy fat. I would say
You're
it's
right.
a healthy fat.
You're right.
Healthier than other fats.
Right. So,
But
and
you know, a little bit is not going to hurt anybody.
exactly. And then I have some cilantro here. And in the summertime, I grow my herbs outside so that I can just go out and snip them and add them right in at the last minute.
Look at the colors.
Okay. And then we're just going to stir it up. We're going to taste it then. And we're going to decide if we need any salt or pepper in there. Okay. Want a spoon?
Sure.
Erica, you want to try?
Let's see. I want to make sure I get a piece of pomegranate. Oh, that is really good. You know what's nice is that when you bite into the seed, it kind of bursts. The pomegranate kind of bursts, and all of a sudden you have a different flavor. Very good.
So
that
and
is surprising.
I don't think we need salt and pepper. You could
No.
add it if you
Right.
you so desire, but
Right. And then you would serve it with some. You want let's put some on a plate with a few chips,
sure.
so we can see what everybody can see what it looks like. Wow, it's going to be hard to control how much you eat of this. You know what? That blue cheese really makes a difference. When I first saw the recipe, I'm like, I don't know about that, but that is great. Very nice. Good. Ladies, thank you so much. You did a great job. You've taught us so much, and we really appreciate that. So
Our
go
pleasure.
out and try a mango papaya. You now know how to test it, to see, go around smelling and pushing and pinching and seeing what's healthy, and increase your variety of your produce just so that you can be healthier.